For the first time in months, the country's focus is not on the coronavirus pandemic, with the country mindful of what's happening in the presidential election. This allowed the first day with 100,000 new cases of the virus to eke by unnoticed. The United States hit the milestone on Wednesday with 104,004 new COVID-19 cases announced. 7 states, Iowa, Maine, Michigan, Minnesota, Nebraska, and North Dakota, set records for COVID-19 hospitalizations. They saw jumps of more than 45% in their 7-day rolling average. More than 233,000 people have died from the virus. Just as the country seems to have been split between Joe Biden and Donald Trump, they are as well with the coronavirus. Regardless of how folks feel, it needs to be dealt with. It's clear we're heading into a period where we're going to see increasing hospitalization and deaths in the U.S. And it worries me how little we're doing about it, said former Centers for Disease Control and Prevention Director Tom Frieden. We know by now how fast this virus can move. You have to get ahead of it. Some state leaders don't want to risk throwing more restrictions on residents, but Frieden noted if the virus counts continue the uptick and no action is taken, it may reach a point where nothing will stop COVID-19 but another shutdown. The numbers keep going up, and we're only getting closer and closer to Thanksgiving and Christmas, said an assistant professor of epidemiology, Eleanor Murray, at Boston University. For so many reasons, the next few weeks are going to be bad for us and good for COVID. She also mentioned something that deeply worries her. Either way this election goes, Trump will still be in charge the new few weeks, when cases are higher than they've ever been, said Murray. And he's made clear there will be no top-down, coordinated action coming from the federal government. When conducting polls for the presidential election, voters showed strong disapproval of Trump's response to COVID-19. Despite this, exit polling showed the economy was a larger issue. They voted with the dollar instead of with their health. About 35% said the economy was the most important issue for them, and about 17% placed more importance on the pandemic. About 2 in 10 see racial inequality as the largest issue. But more than half the voters said it is more important to contain the virus, even if that has a negative effect on the economy. Slightly more than 4 in 10 believe rebuilding the economy is the most crucial, even if it negatively affects the response to the virus. The voters who were most concerned about the virus tended to vote for Biden, while those worried about the economy and a return to normalcy were Trump voters. Biden warned of a dark winter on the campaign trail, speaking to voters of the empty chairs in their homes as they grieved for deceased family members. He said he'd follow science and tighten restrictions where necessary. Trump, however, repeatedly spoke about the country rounding the turn with the virus. He assured the country a vaccine was ready, but it didn't turn up by the election as was promised. You know what we want? Trump asked at a Pennsylvania rally this past weekend. We want normal.